All right, is somebody just throwing up a weather balloon or is somebody serious here? And that's Aaron Rodgers. Look, I think he's playing all of America here. And it's fun in games to watch, but when it hits your market, it hits different, doesn't it?
Yeah, when it's your team that's being played or used as leverage to get Rodgers to squeeze just a couple more pennies out of the Green Bay Packers, and yeah, it does hit different. And it doesn't hit me with a lot of excitement because I don't think this is an organization that can afford to give up 2 first-round draft picks, 2 second-round draft picks, and an every week starter at wide receiver, as the Broncos are apparently offering, to get Aaron Rodgers and blow all their cap space too in the process and not be able to bring in a veteran offensive line.
Because here's apparently and allegedly and reportedly the deal on the table from the Denver Broncos. 2022, that's right now. This draft ahead of them. A first-round pick, and they have the 9th pick overall. Also a second-round pick. Then moving into 2023, which would be, do the math next year, a first-round pick and a second-round pick. And, oh, by the way, here you could have Jerry Jeudy as well. If I am Green Bay, if I'm Green Bay and that's on the table, I go, you're giving me all that? Here, take my guy. Here you go, he's 39 years old. And does anybody talk enough about this? I get that he's a 2-time MVP. I get that how good they are, and I get that they win a lot of games. He doesn't win championships. He just doesn't. He doesn't even get into the Super Bowl at this point of his career. Like, we talk a lot about the greatness of Aaron Rodgers. The team success matches about the team success. I mean, they win playoff games at least, but in terms of winning titles, it's like in Pittsburgh. He's not winning titles. If you're Green Bay and that's the true package from Denver, you're nuts if you don't take that. You are nuts.
But trading Aaron Rodgers right now for all of that doesn't make you better right now. It might make you better in 3 years, right?
What if that 9th quarterback is, what if you really love, dare I say, Kenny Pickett?
Okay.
Or what if you really love, Malik Willis?
Or you love Jordan Love because you drafted him a couple years ago and you're sold on him.
And you get him another skill position player at 9 overall. And he can go out and do great things.
Or one of these elite offensive tackles
Correct.
that are around, yeah.
And then next year, you get another first-round pick. If that's the true offer on the table, you're nuts if you don't take it.
I can't call them nuts because they're already so deep into the placating of Aaron Rodgers. It's been like a full calendar year now where they've bent over backwards to do whatever they can to make Aaron Rodgers happy. That you've got to stay on this path. If you don't stay on this path, then why you shouldn't have started down it in the first place. You should have moved on from Aaron Rodgers a year ago. You should because
so you're telling me they're too deep to
they're way too deep to turn around now. They're so deep in the woods, there's no turning around now.
What would that do? And I kind of don't disagree with you. But
I think you punt on the next couple of seasons.
No, but what would that do? Let's say that they would extract themselves from this tailspin that they're in, and they say, wait a minute, we're not too deep. What would be the – then what would the fans be mad? Would Aaron Rodgers not want to come back for a parade? Would Green Bay – would the G be tarnished? Like, give me the tangible result of if they would say – Chris Mack in Pittsburgh said that we're too deep into this. You know what? Screw him. No, we're not. We're trading his ass. Then what would be the ripple effect to that?
You immediately go from being the clear class of your division, because your division's a disaster right now, other than your team, to being just another team amongst those 4 in your division. And with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback for the next year or two in Green Bay, you're guaranteed to win the division each year. Guaranteed. And I understand what you've said about the playoffs and the postseason, and I agree. I don't think that's gone mentioned nearly enough during this Rodgers sweepstakes period.
In this Rodgers sweepstakes, it's like he's winning Super Bowls the past 5 years.
And the only reason I think we notice it as much here is because we've gone through the same thing in Pittsburgh over the last decade, which is no championships. In Denver, I don't think they're thinking about it. In Nashville, I don't think they're thinking about it. But we think about it here, and it's a very good point. But if you're the Packers, I don't want to say irreparably harm the organization, because you do. You get a first and second round pick each of the next 2 years. But you immediately go from we are a title contender to we are kind of rebuilding on the fly.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you have in Jordan Love. You can lie to yourself and tell you believe what you have in Jordan Love and he's going to be a franchise quarterback and all that, but you're lying to yourself because you don't know yet.
Here's the thing. Let's say you trade, and let's play this all the way out. You trade Aaron Rodgers to Denver, and you find out what you have in Jordan Love this year, and he stinks. You take a quarterback next year.
That's the thing. You've got to go from, and I don't know, I think the Packers are a lot like the Steelers in this regard, in that they're not going to be that organization that all of a sudden goes from, we've had our quarterback for the last decade and a half, and really they've had their quarterback for the last 30 years now, going from one guy to the next, that all of a sudden decides, no, we're going to be that uber-aggressive Arizona Cardinals-style team that if the quarterback doesn't work out, well, bang, we just trade him and move up in the draft the next year and try that year. Try that quarterback from that class. And then if that doesn't work in a couple of years, bang, we do it again. Like they are right there with the Steelers for wanting to play in that middle lane, sometimes even the slow lane. And change will come as it comes. And why would we want to accelerate the pace of change?
In the next 72 to 96 hours, the biggest liars in the world will be the people who represent Aaron Rodgers.
And Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. That's my thought on all
that.
His next appearance on Pat McAfee's show will be a total sham. It'll be great. It'll be appointment watching. I'll have to see it. I won't believe one word out of his mouth.
Like, I have a hard time believing that Kevin Colbert got on the phone with Brian Gutekunst and was like, listen, here's what we'll give you if he decides to come here. And that they did the same thing, that Robinson did the same thing in Nashville, that they did the same thing in – now, Denver, I think, is a different story because they have been salivating and their head coach is his former coach in Green Bay.
More than that, contracts in place. It's being reported by –
everything's ready to go.
Just needs lie.
Just needs the old number 12 rubber stamp to bang down on the piece of paper and say, yes, that's what I'd like. I don't know.
I would bet my life it's untrue. This is the same tactic used by college football and basketball coaches to jake more money out of the place that where they're currently employed.
Oh, it's what anybody does when they're trying to get when they're looking at possibly getting a new job and oh well, I made this at my last place. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's $10,000 more than I really made, but I said that so I could make more money here. I mean, that's what everybody does. They angle, right? They angle to make more money. I don't blame Aaron Rodgers for angling to try to make more money, but to your point, you mentioned 10 minutes ago, when it starts to drag your team into the mix, it feels a whole lot different.
It is. It's great to watch from afar, but then when you're in the middle of it, it definitely takes on a different tone.
And it's fun to talk about until you start to piece together the ripple effects of, okay, let's play it out. Let's say the Steelers trade all that. Let's say they trade this year's and next year's first and second round picks, and I don't know, Chase Claypool, okay, or Deontay Johnson, one of the two, for Aaron Rodgers. Let's say that's enough to get the deal done. And then they give him a $45-50 million contract, whatever it may be.
I'm all for the Steelers living in the now, but I'm also for staying away from dumb stuff.
Well,
and that's
I'm
dumb.
all for not putting a 39-year-old quarterback behind Chukes Okorafor.
Right, and Zach Banner potentially.
Right, like that, and Kendrick Green at center. Like that. I don't care who the quarterback is. I'm not putting him behind that line, and I can't do much with that offensive line if I'm giving Aaron Rodgers $45 or $50 million next year.
I agree with you. It makes zero sense. It does make sense in Denver. I think it makes sense.
Does $10 million for Mitch Trubisky make sense? I can't reconcile that in my head yet. That a guy who hasn't started a football game in 2 years.
Didn't Mitch Trubisky throw like 8 passes last year?
Yes.
I mean, seriously, 8?
Uh-huh.
That's incredible to me. But it goes to show the lack of confidence, I think, in this draft class. It also goes to show the confidence that people have that he's rehabilitated his game, and also what the Buffalo coaches are saying about him. And more to the point, the fact that the drop-off in quarterbacks from quarterbacks, say, 19 or so in this league, right after that. Or even 15 or so, right after that, is incredible.
You get past
the amount
top
of people
half
that are
of the
trusted.
Quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's just falls straight off a cliff.
I can't wrap my head around giving Mitch Trubisky $10 million.
No, I can't wrap my head around giving Mitch Trubisky $7 million.
No,
what was he making? $2.5, $3 million last year?
That's a great question.
I bet he wasn't making $3 million last year. People were going to give him 10. $10 million?
For what? Again, a guy who hasn't thrown a pass, or hasn't started a game since 2020.
And didn't look good doing it.
Right.
Crazy. All right.